Welcome to Fine Arts, Fine Life's Instagram space. I'm Makella Moore Harris, founder and executive director of Fine Arts, Fine Life, a nonprofit organization based in Birmingham, Alabama, that utilizes fine arts to positively impact the mental wellness of our youth. You are tuned in to Self-Care Sundays, where we have vulnerable conversations with dynamic people surrounding topics regarding wellness and self-care practices, mental health, if you will. So today, I am speaking with some of Birmingham's most talented artists. Oh, and we have someone joining us here. Some of Birmingham's most talented artists, and those who live in this city know exactly what I'm talking about. They all happen to be my friends, and they all happen to be in a local production of Once on This Island. So for people who are just tuning in, Self-Care Sundays was originated just for, a space where we can be vulnerable and have candid conversations about much needed self-care practices. So I'm going to start off. Can you guys, or would anyone like to expound on what self-care means to them and how you prioritize it in your life?
Okay, sure. To me, self-care is a couple of different aspects. You have your mentality or your mental, you have your physical, and you have your emotional, and of course your spiritual. So I started doing taking my self-care really serious probably in the last 2 years, where I really just have some kind of time to myself where I don't have to be focused on anybody else, my family, my kids, my wife, or anybody, just myself, which is, for me, it's the gym. So I'm getting a dual effect. I'm getting the physical and the mental at the same time. But I always sit in my car before I go in while I'm drinking my pre-workout, and I actually read my Bible. And there we go. I'll be in it. I'm ready by that time.
Awesome. And so let me take a beat, because I really put the cart before the horse. I'm going to introduce some of the artists we have here with us. Caprinia Anthony, Michael Charles, Kendall Johnson, Jeremy Jefferson, and Abijah Cunningham. And so I had this brilliant idea, because one thing all of us have in common is that we perform together at some point in life. And so, as I said earlier, I went to see the production of Once on This Island, and you guys effortlessly put on the first, maybe the second official performance. It was a rehearsal, but it was phenomenal. And you made it look so easy, but I know it's not that easy. And so many of you are juggling full-time jobs. Many of you, you have things going on in your personal life. And there are so many stressors just within putting on a production itself. Losing props, dropping lines, maintaining your physical health, making sure, COVID's not impacting, your vocal performance, remembering blocking, so many stressors that I wanted to check in with you to see, how you're showing up for yourself in this space and within this process, and what's it like for you mentally? Like, how's your spirit right now? Caprinia, how is your spirit? Because, I love these.
I was having some technical difficulties, so I think I didn't hear probably 90% of what you said. But since you look, I'm in the car and all of this equipment is it's making me crazy. But anyway, I think I'm understanding you say, how have we been able to just keep our mind, body, and souls um, uh, look exuberant through this whole process?
Yes.
For me, you know, to be transparent, it is a blessing and then somewhat a curse in that I know all of us were very concerned about being in this body of work, and then it's COVID going on, and we knew the cast was going to be upwards of 20 plus people, and then all of us being in the room and all of us touching, and then we're just a
Mhm.
touchy kiss on love on type of people anyway. So it was hard not trying to touch someone. And then Michael mentioned the other day when we had a talk back at the theater how it was confusing because we did unfortunately have COVID hit a few times. So certain cast members were out, which meant we had to be thinking, okay, if that cast member is out, then I normally remember where whomever is supposed to be. If they're not there and somebody else is in that place, okay, where am I supposed to be? You know, we
Mhm.
really had to think this through for real. And then with a lot going on, I know in all of our lives, specifically mine, this was also an outlet.
Yes.
Theater allows us to have an outlet that then I can escape thinking about the 50 things that I have to worry about that day. And even though it's stressful,
Uh-oh, you went mute. You went mute. Caprinia, un unmute yourself. Okay, there you are. You accidentally muted yourself.
can y'all hear me?
Yes. Faintly.
Hear y'all?
Oh no. Oh, because you were making some really, really great points. One thing that resonated that she said is that
Look, I'm like,
theater is definitely a space for you to become someone else. And that's mental wellness within itself. Like you get to be somebody else and you get to lose, whatever clouded thoughts you had going on, prior to entering that space. Michael Charles, I remember you saying you actually caught COVID during the process. What was that like for you?
It was it was scary actually, because at first I did not have any symptoms at all. And first of all, I took a COVID test just because I was like, oh, I'm teaching a lot of kids and I don't want COVID to affect the kids and it's really hitting the cast really hard. I'm just gonna go and get tested. And literally the same day I got tested, I took a PCR test. The same day I got tested, literally once I left the testing site, I came back home and I was like, man, I'm tired. I am super, super tired. I don't know what is going on. Like I've not been this tired in a long time. And I got sick. I got really, really sick last year, like in and out of healthcare facilities, type sick. And I was like, oh no, is this about to happen again? Like during a show, like I'm really nervous. I don't know what's going on. Um, and then eventually I got my COVID test results back and they were negative. And then something told me, you should take another COVID test. You should definitely take another COVID test. So I took another COVID test and it was definitely positive. And at that point I was like sick, like in the trenches, couldn't get up, couldn't breathe or anything. And I was still like trying to watch rehearsal videos and trying to study my lines, but most of the time I could literally only sleep. So I was like, oh gosh, I'm about to, and when it came time for me to go back to rehearsal, I was like, I barely know any of this music. I barely know where I'm supposed to be standing. I don't know who is who watching these videos.
Wow.
I don't know what's happening pretty much in the show. And I would talk to, cast members in the show that I was pretty close to, and they were like, yeah, we kind of don't know either because it's not just you that's out. Like literally half the people in the cast are out right now. So don't feel bad. And the director, choreographer, and the music director assured me that everything was going to be fine. But me being the performer that I am, I like to put my best foot forward. And when I feel like I cannot rise to the occasion, I get very, very nervous. So that was something scary for me. But obviously we got through it, and here we are now. And thank God we haven't during the run had to have anyone go out for COVID. So I'm very, very happy about that. I definitely was on my hands and knees praying about that.
Wow. So was there ever a pressure, like, did you ever feel pressure thinking that you could possibly lose your position because you were out for so long?
That crossed my mind a couple of times, but also, like, I know who I am and I know whose I am, and I know that wherever the chips fall is where they fall. And if it just so happened that I had to drop out of the show, then I would have to drop out, but I would also still be protected. I would still be taken care of financially. I would still probably find somewhere else to perform. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to drop out of something. So I know what God can do, and I know what he has done for me in the past. So it would be in poor taste of my faith to not trust him to take care of me if I had to drop out of this performance.
I love that. I love that. So Abijah, I mean, the vocal songstress extraordinaire. Were there, what was it like for you? Because you sing a lot of high parts. Did you ever feel, like, is that ever a thought or an issue or a concern, you know, when you think about COVID and being around others, and not just making this about COVID, but, you know, let's say this was 3 years from now, what are the pressures for you to show up as your best self for every performance consistently with such, you know, dynamic and strenuous parts to sing?
Well, for me, even with this show, it's a lot of sometimes it can be a little stressful because going back to what Michael said, I was sick during a rehearsal period, but I didn't have COVID. I actually went back and took about 3 tests to make sure it wasn't COVID. I ended up having a sinus infection, which I deal with a lot of sinus infections a lot, and I have a history of migraines. So it was a little stressful, and like Michael was saying, I want to always try to put my best foot forward. So being out, it was mind wrecking, like, oh my God, am I going to get the blocking? Because going into the space, the theater space, the blocking kind of shifted completely. So it was nerve wracking at that. And then I ended up having I think it was last week, last Saturday, no, the Saturday before last. So actually the opening weekend of the show, that Saturday, I actually had some vocal issues where I was kind of strained, just tired, overworked kind of thing, or overexhausted to say. So I did have some vocal issues that Saturday during the show. And this past Sunday, I was completely sick. But I still went out and performed. But when I got off stage, like, I could barely drive home. So my husband had to actually come and get me from the show. So it's a lot within just being an artist. It's a lot that goes, that people don't know that goes behind the scenes. I mean, literally, I was vomiting Sunday and still walking out on stage. Caprina, she can attest to that. Like, I would go, when we had the intermission, I went in the dressing room and I laid down. Like, so just my faith, praying and saying, God, I need to get through this, because, and it's not about me. I'm thinking about my castmates. to say, okay, I need to go out here. I need to go out here and perform. I don't want to mess this up for them. Not for
Right.
myself, but for them, you know. So I'm trying my best to go out and just do the best that I can each time. But I rarely get issues with my voice or vocal. And that was a thing. I'm rarely hoarse as well. So I could tell, I guess I say this a lot now, with aging, I can tell some shifts going on. So I'm about to hit 40 in June this month. I mean, not this year. So I can tell like a shift of that, and being a mom of two, being a wife, on the go all the time, all that plays a part with everything, and just being kind of stretched thin sometimes. But
You mentioned
it's
the
all
mom
worth it
part.
though.
It's
It's
so
all
worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. Kendall, I have a question for you next, but you mentioning mom, I actually was going to ask, what sort of pressures do you feel, you know, being away from your kids for such amount of time? And I always wondered this, you know, me being a newly married woman, not having kids, not having the support, you know, that I would have if I lived in my hometown. I always wonder, especially with Caprinia being a mom, like, what is that schedule like? Like, how do you balance and juggle being at really demanding, lengthy rehearsals, and then still, you know, clocking back into, you know, mommy mind after rehearsals? And then we all know a lot of times the real work happens outside of rehearsals, when you're having to memorize lines and, you know, the songs. And, you know, what's that like for parents?
Well, honestly, you never clock out of parenting, because it can be where on breaks during rehearsals, you know, I'm checking in, making sure homework is done, making sure, you know, they done everything before bedtime. And I have alarms, and I'm pretty sure me and Caprini, we laugh about this a lot. We have alarms set on our phone for our kids. So we know, like, alarms for prayer time. But with all of that, I do have a good support system. My husband, he chips in a lot with that. So I'm grateful for that. And my parents are deceased, but I do have wonderful in-laws. Well, I don't call them in-laws, they're my mom and dad. So with that, having that support, it helps out a whole lot. And the rehearsal part, outside of rehearsal, being at home, and they actually help me a lot, because most of the time when I'm learning my songs, they end up learning them too. So we're around the house singing them together. So, so they love that. They don't love the fact that sometimes when we have those tech week where I'm out at least 12 hours,
Yeah.
of course they miss me and that type of thing. I'll be like, oh, mom, you're gonna be out till, you know, 11 tonight again. So it's a lot of times where I kiss them and I'll be like, I'll see you in the morning, because I'm not going to see you.
For that? Do you ever feel guilty? Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be away until 11 o'clock.
I do. It has gotten better now that they're older, because Caleb is 12 and Addison is 9. So now that they're older, I feel, yes. So now that they're older, I don't feel as much guilt. But in the past, I did, but I still had to say, you know, and explain to them, mommy, outside of mommy has dreams and goals and things that she wants to pursue and love to do as well. So they do understand that mommy, I'm not just mommy. I am a woman. Number one, I'm a woman, and I have goals that I would like to pursue as well. So
absolutely. What about you, Caprinia?
Let me tell you, my mind is working million miles a minute, because, and you're gonna soon know, Makella, once you start having your babies, yes, and you're wanting to be an entertainer and performer, we constantly, I know Jeremy and Abij, we're all constantly thinking about our schedule. And because we have to factor in homework, we have to factor in cooking, we have to factor in picking up from school, getting them to where they need to be, plus us making it to rehearsal on time, which in the past, that was a little hard for me when Jarrell was younger. So, and I'm sure with them having two, it was probably really hard. But now, since Jarrell is older, I did have to have that same conversation. Because with COVID, really the past 2 years, he's had undivided attention. And then when I said, hey, I want to do a show, and he was thinking, okay, wait a minute, that means you're going to be gone and not here to, do what I need you to do, like be with me, cook, and do all those things. And when I explained to him, son, I need to do something for me, which goes back to the self-help that you're talking about, Makella.
Mhm.
Times like this, we do need, especially as parents, we need the outlet to do something for us. We need the outlet to create something different than the selection of the menu and what they're going to wear to school the next day, and ironing clothes, and getting to basketball practice and football practice and Jarrell golf practice. I'm thinking this is my time for me to do me and refuel my tank, because they
Okay.
do, but soccer allows us to refuel our tanks.
And I'm so happy that you said this allows you to refuel your tank, because, we can't pour into others if we don't fill our own tanks.
At all.
Okay, so I will say, hearing you guys, those of us who don't have kids, sometimes this kind of drives my decision. I'm like, man, they got a lot going on. They got so much to do, and I am already so tired. So I could not imagine adding that to what I already have going on. Kendall, what has been the most rewarding part for you in this entire experience? Working with this cast, working with this production.
The most rewarding thing for me is I've done the show before. I did it in 2006, and I feel like this one is better for me and for my soul. And I get to work with people that I'm in love with: Abijah, Caprinia, Jeremy.
Great
Some of the
cast.
most talented people that I know. And I keep telling people, because like people want to invite themselves and come to the show, and I'm just like, but my part is really small.
It's not.
But they're like,
Yeah.
It's not.
but it is.
It's not. I'm
But
not
let
even
me
gonna
tell you
let you
something.
say it.
I come to this show every night, and I look forward to seeing Jeremy, Caprinia, Abijah. And I'm just like,
And Michael.
and
He
Mike,
means you too, Michael.
And stop, Kendall. Your part is not small.
It is not.
I'm not even gonna let
Not
you
at all.
rest on that. You're not gonna rest on that. I saw the show. I was like, look at Kendall.
whatever.
Look at Kendall. I'm so
But-
serious.
I am in love with these people. And so I don't even know if I answered your question. I'm just saying,
You did.
this is everything for me.
It
I
is.
love these people. I love these people. And I'm so glad and blessed to be able to get to work with them.
That's the most magical part about it all. Like, if there's anything like I've gleaned from these experiences, is the relationships more than anything. Like, I can remember settling on a role once that I did not really want to do, but I just love being in the space with these people. And I was like, you know what? It's worth it.
Yep.
It's worth it.
It makes a big difference.
I have to say this, all of us have been in a lot of shows, and it's inevitable for something to happen, meaning cast member, this and that. You could tell that it's not like this 100% full circle, harmonious type of rehearsal process. But this cast right here, I don't know if I can ever say, like, this cast is so powerful. Our spirits so connect.
We are so easy and so accommodating. And so I've never seen the level of just respect and care and kindness.
But we
I mean,
had to.
the amount of people that's on this cast is unbelievable. So yeah, I feel you, Kendall. Like, love these people as we do.
No egos, no egos. Everybody is on the same level. Like,
And the chemistry is
and that's
there.
how it should be.
From the audience standpoint, the chemistry is there. Like it looks like, y'all are on a tour together. It's that kind of jail. I was just like, look at my people, just killing it. I do need to put this disclaimer in there, guys, because I know we said this was going to be short, but if the conversation is driving, I tried to upgrade just now. If y'all saw me looking all over the place, I tried to upgrade. So in 3 minutes, this is going to shut off. And then if you guys wanted to log right back in, we could do a part 2, just maybe like another 15 minutes. I'll clip this off of the video. Those are not going to be there.
Okay.
Cabrini, I love your facial expression. Jarrell is at, what time is it? Why is he at basketball practice so late?
They didn't start until 6 o'clock.
Good. It's the NBA.
Well, yeah, this is because Addison, she has cheer from at 6 o'clock. Her cheer classes are at 6.
Is this because is it not through the school? Is it like with another organization, and so they're giving them time to like do school activities and then come there?
Both, and they are looking at the average parent may work 8 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if parents work
Yeah.
8 to 5, then they allow the time for you to leave work, get to your child, and then get them somewhere. So
Okay, so that's how you know it's not at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Because after school the kids will stay there and then parents come pick them up. Guys, I'm gonna end this. Can y'all log right back on?
I cannot.
Okay.
I have to get back to Sanford to do their tech over there. So
You just, I mean,
it
all
never
the-
stops.
all
It
the
never
things for
stops.
all the people.
It never stops. But thank
I'm
you so much for
available.
this. This was amazing.
Of course. Okay, so can we log back on for 2 seconds so you can say what you just said, because I'm gonna edit it.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Okay.
I'm hanging up.
All right.